Hey, what's up my people? My name is Jay and this is the review of Arrow. Now, before I start, I want to say something about last week's Arrow. I did not make a review for it, mainly because it was a grieving episode. It was one of those episodes where you feel like it has to happen just so they can acknowledge the fact that Sarah died. And that's cool and everything, but it's one of those things where it felt like, it was like, let's get through this one so we can get to next week's episode. So I didn't really do a review on that. I apologize. Right? One thing I would like to say before I start about that was Thea coming back. Now, at the end of the episode, you saw Thea and she was like fighting and she was like, you know, she's, yeah. There was like a lot of karate and fighting stuff going on, and I was like, damn, that's a lot of improvement in 5 months. She like with the big boys, she's stumping with the big dogs. That's cool. Let's get into this episode. The first thing I want to note is this whole thing was motivated also by Sarah's death. Oliver decided, hey look, watching Laurel lose her sister made me want to see mine, so we're going to find her. Thea has lied about her location. She is actually in the Maltese, in South America, wherever that is. This is like a slightly funny thing I noticed about Oliver, right? This episode he spoke Spanish. The man speaks Spanish and he speaks Russian. I'm trying to think back, and you guys can help me in the comments below because I know there's somebody who remembers perfectly and is going to write in the comments below, you idiot, this is what happened in this episode, episode 218, this is what... I'm ready for it. Put it in the comments below. But he speaks Spanish and Russian. I don't recall him speaking Chinese, and he spent a whole hell of a lot of time in China. In China, he accused the Japanese man of speaking Chinese, which I was like, all the time you spent around people, I was going to do the language. That's not a good thing to do. Whatever. Let me know in the comments below. I can't remember. Has he spoken Chinese? I mean, like fluently, like he speaks Russian. He's like, and he speaks it in Spanish. He's like, yo quiero Taco Bell, whatever they do. This is turning into an onslaught against the racists. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for stopping. Another interesting thing about this episode was they were flashbacks. And for once, somebody else's life took over the flashbacks. So it wasn't flashbacks for Oliver. I was going to call him Arthur. Who the There wasn't really flashbacks for Oliver. They were all Thea flashbacks. So it was about what happened the moment the episode ended. She got in the car with, the season ended last year and she got in the car with Malcolm and they went off and did whatever they did. It was flashbacks of her training and those moments that she took and helped her become what she is today. And her and Malcolm bonded over the loss of their families. Like, you know, Malcolm lost his wife and his son, and Thea lost her mother and Tommy because he was close to their family too. So it was like this thing, they bonded over that and they wanted to get strong, and she wanted to get strong. She didn't want to feel pain anymore and all this stuff. And they trained her up. And I think that's like, I don't know where it's going to lead, and I like that. I like being surprised. I like when things catch me off guard because, look, I'm inflappable. I mean, look at me. Also, another thing about this episode, it had a couple side stories. It had a little side story with Smoke and Superman guy. They were doing the thing where they were retrieving this information from this old, beat-up, destroyed, exploded computer system. And at the end of the episode, he got some weapons, like specs or whatever from it, which... But he was a good guy. He seems like he was way too interested in violent stuff. Whatever. Then there was another side mission in the Maltese, surprisingly enough. How often do you say, hey, I gotta go to the Maltese, and then your wife be like, oh, yeah, interestingly enough, I have a situation in the Maltese. You could help me handle that. It's weird. It happened, and like, it was their way of getting action into the episode, and I respect that, and I thank you for it, because sometimes, you know, you need a little bit of violence, and I keep forgetting how good Oliver's weapons, like, do to precision. Like, he's using one bullet to kill people. That's like everybody else is just like, he's like, pow, 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 pow. That's amazing. Okay, if I was like a violent killer man and I had a gun, I would be taking people out with one bullet. I'd try to take 2 people out with one bullet. Bop, bop. Like, I'd be like that kind of dude. So I understand it. I like it. Cool. There was a fourth side story, or a third side story with Laurel. Laurel is losing her shite. Okay, I get it. You're in a dark place. You're spiraling out of control. It's rough. You lost your sister again, and it's just hard for you to deal. But you're like going to AA meetings, listening to their stories, and then finding the horrible people from their stories and trying to fight them and shit. Like, you, come on, sweetheart. You're new. You can't just like run up on a man and try to fight them. You got your ass whooped today. And I think it was a moment that you realized that you should probably be trained before you go out and try to fight people. I feel like she's trying to take her sister's mantle up, which could be interesting to see. She needs to go away with Malcolm Merlin for a couple months, apparently, because that dude trains people like nobody's business. Good luck to you. I just think, like, you can't just run up on somebody with a bat and you like a 98-pound girl. It's not gonna work out for you. But for the most part, the episode kind of gets to a conclusion area where Oliver tells Thea this story about, you know, his father and all the secrets and all this stuff. And she says a lot of stuff about how secrets are, like, she was talking to him and Roy at 2 different piers, and she had this whole speech about secrets and how they hurt and how they're dangerous and how she doesn't want secrets. She just wants the truth from everybody and all that. As she's literally speaking and saying this, back at her house, her father is there. I don't recall her saying, hey, my dad's home. I don't recall her saying any of that. So it's weird for me to hear her say, I don't want any secrets. Tell me the truth about everything. And you're sitting there lying about something very big. About a guy who's supposed to be dead, but he's not. Like, irony? Is that? Let me pick up my phone. I don't have it on me. I was going to say, irony, is that you? Yeah? Okay. It's irony in its biggest form. Yeah, so this episode also, this episode was okay. Okay. I feel like they're putting all the pieces in place before a lot of big heavy shit goes down. So for that purpose, I'm like, okay, it's not that great of an episode, but they're getting everybody in place before something crazy happens, and that I respect and I understand. So I let it slide. Thanks for watching this episode review. That's who I'm Jay. I do the reviews and stuff, so check it out. Thanks for watching, and I think that's about it. Anybody else have anything to say? No, I'm alone. I'm a crazy person. I'm speaking to myself. I knew that. Thanks for watching, guys. Deuces.